ahead.
Welcome to Women of Wisdom, everyone. Today, I happen to have a dear friend of mine on my show with me who's a phenomenal, and when I say this, um, you will understand why I say this. When I say she's a phenomenal, independent published film author, independent published film producer, although she did write the play, so she did write the movie, so it's, and she does do plays, so I think I got it all straight. But today we're here to talk about what it's like being on the other end, what it's like being an independent published film producer and an independent published film um, maker, and what we're going to get into the aspect of indie films. And as I said, she's a dear friend of mine, and I'll admit something later on in the podcast that she knows that not so many of you know, but I'm going to ask her a couple of questions. And yes, I have seen her phenomenal work. I saw it 2 weeks ago, I think. 2 weeks ago, we had it out here, and it's phenomenal. It just left me on the edge of my seat. And the movie I am about to expose today is I Am Beautiful. And it's a psychological thriller. Psychological thriller. Am I correct? Am I correct, Naomi, when I say that? I just want to put it in the correct category.
Yeah, it's sort of,
Psychological.
I think it sort of exists somewhere between being a psychological drama and a psychological thriller.
Okay,
Different people
psychological
find different.
drama, psychological thriller. So, what I'm going to do is ask you a couple of questions, and then we'll delve right in.
Great. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you for coming on. I know you're extremely busy,
Yeah.
and you are producing. Um, was it two plays? Am I correct? Or one?
Um, when I've produced a lot of plays in New York, and
When
then
when le- right after someone who introduced you at I Am Beautiful said you're working on another play.
another script.
An-
Yeah,
Another script.
I
See,
am.
I
Yeah,
see. I stand corrected. See, I stand corrected. So
yeah.
you
I'm
all working on another
right.
movie, not a play necessarily. You
No,
all working on
they're,
another movie, and so how's that going compared to this one?
it's good. It's a very very different story. This one is about, first of all, it's a comedy, so it's very different already.
Well,
It's a romantic comedy.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and I will admit something to my viewers that about you.
okay.
Naomi is very, very shy. And so we're still working on that shy aspect. But if you guys hear dead air out of Naomi, not me, that's because she has the personality of being shy. And she's a little freaked out about every award the movie's won. Uh, and can, before I ask you my first question, as a segue in, can you explain what the awards the I Am Beautiful has won? I know it won New York out the Yin Yang, and I know before
Yeah.
you premiered it out here at one Toronto to
Vancouver.
Vancouver. See, I
Yeah,
stand
we've
corrected
been
again.
lucky enough to do very well in the festival circuit. We've won 3 Best Feature awards, a Best Director, 3 Best Actresses, a Best Screenplay, a Best Editor,
Oh,
and from different festivals we've played at, including New York City International Film Festival, Arizona International Film Festival, Canada International Film Festival,
oh my
Cape
God.
Fear Independent Film
Oh my
Festival.
God, you're all over the place.
Yeah,
You're all over the place
it's
winning
great.
awards there.
And traveling all over.
And what made you wanna produce I Am Beautiful? Because I remember I remember the original plea to all of us um, out here in your hometown, and you said, I have a project, I want to get this done, but
Yeah.
I don't know how. You said, I remember the night sitting at the wheel, and I remember taking a picture of you on my phone.
Oh,
And you had a phenomenal event that night anyway. And so
it
you
was
said,
a
I
fundraiser.
have a project, but
Yeah, fundraiser
I
for the
don't know how to get this done. I have no idea what I'm doing. Will you all help me? And then it turns out a year later, you're premiering a film
well,
here to all of us.
later.
2 years later, it took 2 years. Um, it took 2 years. And so that being said, why did you want to write this story? Because it's, even though it's a character, it's very unlike you to play those characters.
Yeah. Um, I got, I had a couple of things happen to people close to me within the course of about 6 months with people with borderline personality disorder, which is what the main character in my film has. And I just got very interested in mental illness as a topic, and I got very interested in how quick we are to judge and sort of right. If someone has a mental illness, we sort of say, "Oh well, you know,
We,
they're whatever they do, we just go, oh well, it's because they're crazy."
yes, yes.
Just I got very I just don't think it's that straightforward, and I think it's a spectrum, and I think the reality is that people with borderline personality disorder, a lot of other mental illnesses, are really, they're just trying to get the same things that the rest of us are trying to get, love and understanding, and
Yeah, yeah. And,
you know, like the character in my film, they're just sometimes willing to go to sort of more extreme lengths to get that. And so I was very interested in, okay, if you started a film and you had a character and you didn't know she had a mental illness up front, and you just fell in love with her and you got to know her, and then eventually over the course of the film you sort of start to realize what's actually going on. I thought it would be, we've seen films where you meet a character and you find out and you know up front that they have a mental illness. And then over the course of the film, you're supposed to sort of try to come in and to understand them and love them anyway. But I just thought, what if you reverse that? And what if you started off not knowing?
and the
Which
funny,
is just the way it works in life, actually, right?
yeah,
People don't walk
it's
around.
the way it works in life. And the funny thing is, Naomi, and you know this of all people, cerebral palsy doesn't get the light it should spread on it. More than, and I think mental illness gets less awareness light spread on it too, because we all land up thinking that people with mental illnesses are insane. And I have friends with mental illnesses, and I have friends with autism, and I have friends with all disabilities, and you're right, they're just trying to get the same um, respect that the rest of the human race is trying to get. And so, being a woman, did that make it challenging producing a film about mentally disturbed and being a woman? And because you had a phenomenal woman film crew behind you,
We did.
and your co-producer, I wish she would have shown up this morning, but your co-producer, Caitlin, is phenomenal too. And so did the stigma of what you were trying to do make it hard on you, because the stigma of having a mental disability or physical disability, in my case, is hard to be, is a challenge to begin with. And so, on top of it, now we're doing independent film as a woman, on top of dealing with the stigma about mental disabilities.
I know. What were we thinking? No, I mean, yeah, it absolutely made it harder. And what, just, in the 2 years that Caitlin and Meredith and eventually Joanna and I were trying to make this film, we kept hearing again and again and again, well, no one's going to want to see a film.
Yeah, and I keep hearing
and
again and again and again, no one's wanna read a book about cerebral palsy. No one's wanna support publish the independent publish anything as a woman or anything, because it's fear of the unknown. It's fear of the unknown, and mental disabilities all fear of the unknown. So again, it makes it also challenging as a woman to portray a whole set that is fear-based.
Yeah. Well, and I think, what was really amazing to me, I just think there's such a myth in this industry that against female stories. Like, people said to my face over and over again, like, no one's going to want to see a film about two women. No one's going to want to distribute a film about two women. No one's going to want to fund a film about two women, which I just think is so bogus, because
yeah, I agree.
people want to see it. But I think, I think there are two reasons that people want to see or read or hear stories. In the grander scheme of things, I think there's two reasons. I think there's two reasons for seeing the people, that storytelling has persisted. And I think one of them is because we want to see someone that we identify with, that will, and in identifying with them, we'll feel less alone. I think that's, or
Exactly.
we want to see somebody that will inspire us to make our lives better than they are.
Exactly.
And I just, and I think that's a universal human truth. I think that's why we have stories.
Exactly.
I think the idea that women wouldn't want to see their stories and life experiences portrayed on film is completely nuts. And the fact that even men wouldn't want to. I mean, men, I've actually been very surprised by how much men like this film. I just think it's a total myth that people don't care about women's stories. I think you're not making
total myth that, and it's good that someone is bringing it out in the independent published realm, because you hear a lot about professionally produced movies about mental illness, but yet when it comes to independently published stuff, they don't want to talk about it. They barely want to talk about cerebral palsy, let alone mental illness. So I think it's phenomenal, to your credit, that you have finally brought what the big stigma is and the elephant in the closet out and with two women. And so that leads me to my next question. What was your hardest scene to do as Lena?
Well, I don't want to give away the end of the movie.
Ah, no, no,
but,
no, 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 no. We're not.
but the final scene of the film is in ways that you will find out when you watch the movie. My character,
Yes.
sort of whole world
Yes.
comes crashing down around her ears.
Yes. Yes.
In this
And
very, very
the way you portrayed that was left me speechless. Left me speechless. And I'm the one that sees stuff you can shake a stick at, and we grew up together, and so it's, you know this, you understand all this, and so, but the way you portray what she's going through is speechless and left me on the edge of my seat. And now, what was your favorite scene to do?
It's so hard. Somebody asked me that in a Q&A a few weeks ago, and
Oh,
I said, I said, and then someone, the director, made fun of me later because she said it was such a silly thing to say, or like a cheesy thing to say. But honestly, like, you know, I wrote 52 drafts of this film, of the script, 52 before it finally got shot over the course of 2 years.
52.
And so, just getting to do every scene that I had been imagining in my head for 2 years, for like so constantly, was such a gift. You know, it just felt like it felt like Christmas morning. Like the whole shoot felt like Christmas, because you'd be like, oh, now we get to do that scene, and like now I get to see
you
this.
Get,
actually, like
you
you
get
know,
to,
like whole. I don't know if I could pick a favorite because
you get to see your vision come alive, and that's what I like about independent published anything, is you get to see your vision come alive, whereas with these traditional publishing deals and these traditional movie deals, they take control. They literally take control and say, this, okay, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this. I had a hybrid publishing deal, and unbeknownst to me, it landed up not working well, and because I don't think people understand that you and I and 50% of the world now have these creative personalities, and we don't like to be, how do I put this? Oh, come on. We don't like to be set to a box. We don't like to be set to rules. And the reason why I say that is because I have watched you, I have performed alongside you many, many, many times, and many, many years ago now. And I actually act. I can actually hold a tune if I can actually hold a tune. Naomi can probably do it better than I can, but I can actually act. But at the same time, we like direction, but at the same time, we don't like direction.
Well, I think it's very difficult because, you know, the beauty of doing something small, like, I mean small budgetarily, like we did, is that the stakes in terms of the commercialism of the project are not as high as they would be, you know, with even a $500,000 movie, or, you know, to go beyond that, a multi-million-dollar movie. You know, because having gone through it, I do see why they make the decisions they make, because they're, you know, it becomes at that level necessarily a commercial enterprise because they're dealing with so much money. And the beauty and what I'm so grateful for and what we got to do is we got to do this film that so purely, every decision that got to get made just purely through the artistic eye, because we weren't gambling with hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, and the stakes therefore could really stay focused on making the best artistically pure film we could. So it's I totally get it, but it is, it's if you're trying to do something different and something that's not obviously going to work out, sometimes the only path to do it is to do it on your own and do it in a way where you just
what's
totally.
The old adjective? You want things done right, do it yourself. And I have, with publishing my second book, I have learned so through trial and error, let's just put it that way, and it's going to have to be republished. But that's okay. I've learned my mistakes. And by the way, I'm going to throw a little plug in for your mom, who also recently got a publishing deal.
That's right.
And could you tell my listeners and me what that book is? Because someone told me about it, a contact of mine told me about it, and I was blown away. I was blown away. I mean,
so great. It's so great.
You come from a phenomenal family, and so I don't know if you can tell us anything about that as a side of your family, or do you want to give anything away, or do you want?
The book's out, so you should get a copy. It's really fantastic. It's called The Veil of Time. Actually, there's no "the", it's just Veil of Time, and it's by my mother, Claire McDougall. You can get it on Amazon or wherever books are sold.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal. It's about Scotland, where she's from, and it winds up being a time travel book in the sense that the main character starts time traveling, but she has epilepsy, the main character, and so during her epileptic fits, she winds up sort of slipping through the veil back to Scotland in the time of the Druids and the Picts. And it's just, she's an incredible writer. It's such a beautiful book. You should.
So yet you are now bringing out, and your writing and your movie, of course, I Am Beautiful. You are now bringing out these taboo subjects of epilepsy, because epilepsies, and that's a hidden disability. And
I know. How we got onto this sort of kick of.
we landed up getting on to everything, and so we land up in two aspects. One being writing and one being a movie. We land up bringing out all these hidden disabilities that need to be understood.
Absolutely.
And so it's interesting that you bring that up, because epilepsy also needs to be understood, and so does mental illness, because I have several friends who have mental illness, and they land up coming to me because I understand it from the disabled point, and it's like, oh my God, you literally have to have the compassionate side, and so I'm hoping that people understand in this movie it's not only a phenomenal movie, it's done very beautifully on a small budget.
Yeah.
Say small,
Yeah.
and we crowd funded this movie. And I say we because Naomi was out here originally begging her hometown for the funding. So I say we, that's why I say
Yeah.
we.
Really,
And
it,
so
it is weird.
um, it would, you say we were working with $1,000 budget, am I correct? Or is
Uh,
that a little bit higher?
80,000 is the
Eighty
budget.
thousand. 80,000. So
That was from pre-production through
eighty
to
thousand. Okay.
to marketing costs.
So it lands up being phenomenally done. Now I hear that Candy Factory picked it up.
Yeah, they
And
did.
so are they planning on keeping it as a pay-per-view movie or what? Is this a one-time thing? Because the reason why I'm getting it is if people are not in New York, or if people don't have the connections to Aspen, or if people don't have the connections to independent film festivals, can they watch it as a pay-per-view movie?
Yes. So the great news is that the film did just get picked up for distribution by Candy Factory Productions, which is this amazing new distribution company. They're just phenomenal. So they're planning on bringing it to theaters, to different theaters around the country.
Oh my god!
And then it will. So what you're talking about, Wynn, is we actually just had the film on sale for 1 week only for supporters.
As a paper,
These people have been waiting to see this film for 3 years. So I felt like, well, we need to at least let them buy the film before they have to wait 6 more months or whatever. So let our supporters buy the film at home this past week. That's actually over now. So now Candy Factory is going to launch their wider release plan.
Okay, wider release.
So
you guys are going to have to wait. And there is.
And let me just say quickly. So if you are interested in seeing the film, the best thing to do is to go to our website, which is the title of the film, which is imagineimbeautiful.com, and sign up for our mailing list, because there's going to be a lot of announcements soon about how you can see the film all over the country and all over the world.
I will put at the bottom of this interview imagineimbeautiful.com. I'm sure I can find it via Facebook.
I'll send it to you.
And yes, you can find these girls via Facebook. Imagine I'm Beautiful Facebook.
That's right.
And then I would. What would be the age bracket you would recommend to see this movie? I read in the paper that it was 16 and up.
I would say 18 and up, or a mature 16 and up. I mean, it's definitely. Thank you for asking. It's not a film for children.
Oh no! No.
But yeah, I would say 18 and up is fine. A mature 16 can handle it, but
now I have to admit something. There was a scene that I couldn't even watch. There was a scene. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, this is acting. I'm sitting there with my head in my hands, and I'm thinking, okay, this is acting. And so when I read in the paper out here, the Aspen Times, that it was 16 and up, I'm like, this is not 16 and up.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's more 18, because I am 26, and there was one scene that I couldn't even handle, and it was when she was cutting herself. Let's just put it that way. That and I'm used to seeing medical, and I'm used to seeing blood, but cutting not so much. But that's why I wanted to ask you that.
Yeah,
What
no, thank you for bringing that up. That is
what's the age?
not for the young.
It's not for the weak at heart. It's not
Not
for the
for the
weak
faint
at
of heart
heart.
either.
But as I said, it's phenomenally done. And what do you see the future of your production company, which, by the way, is Nine Lives Productions, and it's an independently run production company, which I think is phenomenal. That you somehow founded a production company, produced a movie, and producing another one. So what is your future plans with Nine Lives Productions?
Well, so Nine Lives Pictures is Caitlin and I, and I, I think both of us are very interested in continuing to tell stories that haven't really been told through independent film. We have a couple different things in the pipeline. One of which is my next screenplay, which is the romantic comedy. It's called Bite Me, and it's a romantic comedy about people who live in the world as vampires. So they're not supernatural vampires. There is actually in real life a subculture of people who live and identify as vampires. So it's
oh my God. You are bringing all these.
I know.
You are bringing all these people out from underneath, out in the open, and
Yeah.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I was at a graduation party, and your dad coming up to me like he's so proud of you, like every father should be, and he's like, it's really good. It's really good. I have read the script. It's really good. And this is before we all went to see Imagine I'm Beautiful.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And so basically, I can't wait for this one because if you're once people watch Imagine I'm Beautiful, they'll understand what we are talking about. When I say taboo subjects, they'll understand how you work with taboo subjects.
Yeah, I hope so. So yes, it's a very different topic, but I think what interests me as a writer and as a filmmaker is taking subjects that, as you say, are taboo or that people are just very quick to judge or and sort of, like, making them human and making them, understandable. And with this one, I just think this film is going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited to get to work on this one.
And have you got, because of I Am Beautiful, have you Imagine I'm Beautiful? I keep calling it I Am Beautiful. It's Imagine I'm Beautiful.
Yeah.
When don't screw up. Yeah. Because of Imagine I'm Beautiful, have you got the fan base and the support for this next project more than when you started Imagine I Am Beautiful? Have you got more of a people wanting to help you?
Yes, I think so. For one thing, what's been most amazing for us and most valuable to us really is the large number of people who have been on our mailing list for a long, long time and followed and helped as they could along the way. As you say, we ran two crowdfunding campaigns for the film. These are people who, gave. These are not people who could give a lot of money, but they gave what they could, and it all added up. And it was so. So I think that base has certainly expanded over the time with this film. So we're starting with a larger base of that kind of support, which is, the best kind of support you can have.
I agree.
And this next one will need to be a bit of a bigger budget. So I mean, not a lot bigger, but there was
a little.
Have to do. So hopefully the success of this film will help us find some bigger investors as well who.
Yeah, because once people see, imagine I'm beautiful, people will understand how phenomenally it's edited, and people will understand the phenomenal work all three of you put into it. And how did you, this is my last question, how did you find that phenomenal actress to go beside you and do the cutting scene and do all this work? Your roommate.
Yeah, my roommate. Not my roommate in real life. Yes, so Katie Morrison, who plays the character, is actually also called Kate. We got so lucky. The gods were smiling on us when we found her. Like much of our team, we actually just found her through a casting call in New York.
Oh my God!
We saw
oh my God!
a lot of people for that part, and that girl's got it. She's gonna be a star. She's.
I would think you should keep her. You should keep her on the maps because that female actress, Katie, is phenomenal. Oh my God, that female actress is phenomenal, and that hot Italian you had that
He's
hot Italian.
He's Uruguayan, Argentinian.
Argentinian.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Argentinian. Where did you find him? He's phenomenal too.
The whole cast. I mean, we actually, with the exception of one woman, two people. With the exception of two people, we didn't know any of those actors ahead of time, and found them all. And all of, apart from me, obviously, the other three main characters, we all found just off an open casting call.
Oh my God! Well, you have an eye for picking people. You have an eye for picking people.
Well, and the director.
The director does. And who's the director?
So the director's a phenomenal woman called Meredith Edwards. And this is her first feature, which no one can believe when they see it, because she just has such vision and talent, and is just a beautiful filmmaker.
It is, and I applaud every single person on that set, and I applaud all the work you guys put into it, and I applaud the soundtrack, and I applaud everything. And by the way, the soundtrack is phenomenal. If you guys don't get to see the movie, pick up the soundtrack.
Well, and what's doubly amazing is that our editor, Chris Steele Nicholson, actually both edited the film and composed and produced the music.
Oh my God!
He is. I mean, talk about talent. We just struck gold left, right, and center with this team.
He has more talent than I do, and so and you do, and I wish you the best of luck with your next film. And of course, you have my support all the way, and you have my my network's all support all the way. All I ask is that you share this interview on Imagine I'm Beautiful and Facebook and Twitter and everywhere else, and we'll see how this interview impacts the both of us.
Right. Absolutely.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much for having me on, Win.